Oh man, Salakia, y'all, Salakia. Hey, Shalom, knowing Christ Israel. You're online with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we have classes here in Memphis from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I want to say Salakia to y'all. Last Thursday, I passed the class over to I let General Muhammad. Everybody watched General Muhammad's class that was live from New York City. He had a very pressing topic that I thought everybody should tune into. Yesterday, I wasn't able to hold down the class. Got a lot of transitional things going on down here in Memphis. But today, Wednesday, we are back live. It's been a week, but we are going to continue with part 2 of the Hypocrite's Plight. It's a breakdown that we started last week, last Wednesday. If you look in your description, if you're tuning in on YouTube or on Facebook, to give you a brief description of what we're going to be discussing tonight. And what prompted me to, come at this breakdown was the so-called canceling of the rapper The Baby that occurred last week. Is that they basically took away his career. You understand? This brother The Baby made them comments, and the homosexuals, the backlash against what he said against the homosexuals being canceled on many of his tour events. It has led to him not being able to perform publicly. He's lost some endorsements, and the backlash that the backlash that The Baby has received is coming in the form of people questioning why is it that cancel culture can cancel someone like The Baby, but no one can cancel someone like Lil Nas X, who makes a video with men dancing naked as if they're women in a homosexual manner, and they're able to do that and nobody has a problem. And so last week what we discussed was the power of what's the word I'm looking for? Not accountability, but the power that being true to who you are has in a society like the one we're living in. You understand? And right now we're living in a time where you're only as strong as you're reliable. You're only as powerful as you are believable. Let me put it that way. You understand? And right now, the power to affect change in this society is in the hands of the people who are true to what they say that they are true to. So you're the rapper The Baby, and you rap about having sex with women and throwing them away. You rap about selling drugs and shooting your enemies, and you rap about all of these things that are glorified in this culture. If you rap about these things and it's believable, then you have success. Like I said, the rapper The Baby, I'm not only singling them out. There's a lot of the culture that we have as a people today is based off of very criminal, deviant, destructive behaviors. All the music is about killing one another, selling drugs, women being whores, having sex with women and throwing them away, not being responsible, not following any rules. Well, when you're someone who raps about these things and you become famous off of that, then what you cannot do is point the finger at someone else who's doing something that's wrong. It's tell someone else who's doing evil that their brand of evil is wrong and they should stop it or they should be shut up. But your brand of evil should be accepted and no one can tell you anything. The mistake that The Baby made in making those comments against homosexuals is he did not weigh, or he didn't count the weight that homosexuals carry in this society. And the reason why homosexuals carry so much weight in this society is that homosexuals have no boundaries or limits when it goes to how far they'll push to be accepted. But a lot of us don't understand the power there is in refusing to be silent, refusing to hide, refusing to not be who you say you are. Homosexuals are fully committed to making sure that they are heard, that they are seen, that they are accepted. If you're someone who lives a lifestyle, regardless of what that lifestyle is, if you're not committed to being seen, being heard, and being accepted, then nobody's going to see you, hear you, or accept you. You know what I'm saying? And reason why, and no one can say, not, I ain't gonna say no one, the reason why people like the baby can't say anything against homosexuals is because the things that he's pushing are just as harmful and damaging as homosexuality. Same goes for the rapper Lil Boosie, and there's a lot of other people in this society. What we as a nation have to realize, and what we covered last week, is that the only way that you can speak against evil is if you were on the side of good. That's the only way. And to be on the side of good, you can't dabble into the evil. You can't have one foot in the in righteousness and one foot in wickedness, because those who are wicked are going to call you out for the little bit of wicked you do. And that calling you out is calling you is calling you a hypocrite. And the Bible describes being a hypocrite as one of the worst things that anyone can be. And so last week we talked about individuals and hypocrisy. This week we're going to talk about hypocrisy on a national level, and the reason why Black people on a whole aren't respected in this society. And it's because we have a culture of hypocrisy. Black people in America have a culture of hypocrisy, a culture of saying one thing when it applies to us, but then doing a completely opposite thing when it applies to someone else. And that is why we aren't respected as a people. Everybody understands? So we're going to go into it tonight. Anybody had any questions? I'd like to start the class off with questions. If anybody had any questions, let me know. All right. Sister Warwick said, a co-worker said his apology was no different than a white person apologizing for calling a Black person a nigger. That's true. You know what I'm saying? And so let's understand. I want everybody to understand that this rapper, the baby, is never going to be able to return or recapture any of the glory he had before this whole situation, because now he has been exposed by everybody to be a hypocrite. Because he said the thing about the homosexuals, then he came back and apologized. Then after apologizing and still not being given any mercy, he took the apology back, which means he deleted it off his social media. So now he was a gangster. Say whatever you want to say. He don't care about who hears it or who gets affected. Then the homosexuals start canceling the shows. He apologizes. I'm sorry. I got to educate myself. I just didn't know enough. Then they still keep canceling his shows. Now he takes the apology back. He's done. He's done. Okay, how good of a rapper he is, I don't care what. Now he's a fake. He's a fraud. He's a phony. Not just to the homosexuals he offended, but even to all the people who say that they support him and they love his music, because now I know you're not a gangster. Now I know all of this rapping you're doing, if there's a dollar amount that you're losing, you'll say sorry. You'll cut back on all of it. And it goes to show us that the same way homosexuals have the power to stop someone saying something against homosexuality, we have the power to stop someone saying something evil about Black people. We have the power to stop the music that's about killing our children. We have the power to stop the music that's about selling drugs and poison to our people. We have the power to stop the music that is about degrading our women and treating them like they're whores and they're sluts, or degrading our sons and cause them to be gangsters and drug dealers. We have that power. But guess what we got to do? We got to stand all the way in righteousness. You understand? So let me go ahead and get into these scriptures. First, we're going to get I think it's going to be also the book of Job. Let's get the book of Job, chapter 14, verse 4. The book of Job, chapter 14, verse 4. And this is what anyone who lives in a wicked lifestyle, but attempts to speak on the behalf of the righteous or attempts to speak on things that are right, this is what occurs. This is why it never works out for them. You understand? And we as black people have to acknowledge that as a nation, we have a lot of problems and a lot of issues within America, within the society. There's a lot of issues, that are real problems that we need real solutions for. But we cannot have someone who is evil or someone who is wicked or someone who is not morally righteous speaking on those problems or trying to arrive at solutions. We need righteous men who are fully righteous to stand up for the problems and the issues that we have as a people. We need righteous men and women who are fully righteous to stand up and lead the charge of changing what is accepted as standards or culture within our community if we want things to get better. You understand? So the problem is not we don't have enough educated people. The problem is we don't have enough influences. The problem is no one's righteous. And that's why the ISUPK is important, is because this is the place where brothers and sisters learn how to live a righteous life, learn how to change their behavior and be a reflection of what the Most High created his people to be. All right. This is Job chapter 14, verse 4. It says, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Everybody understands that. You cannot bring something clean from an unclean source. Everybody understands. That's why when we speak against Christianity, a lot of brothers and sisters, a lot of Christians, they wonder, why are they so hard on Christianity? Why do they talk about Christians this way? What did a Christian ever do to them? Christianity was founded on wickedness. Christianity was founded on hypocrisy. You understand? Christianity was founded on saying one thing but doing another. Everybody understands? And when you have a culture and a system that is established on hypocrisy, it cannot benefit anyone. Everybody understands? It cannot bring anything wholesome, anything good, anything beneficial. And the same is to be said for hypocrisy. Everybody understands? If you are unclean, if you are defiled, if you are filthy in any way, then nothing clean can come from that. You can't. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's what we hear all the time, right? Well, it's the same thing. If you're evil and you're wicked, there's no way that you can bring forth something that is righteous or something that is, that is something that is righteous. Everybody understands? It says, so for the baby, he is an unclean source. Again, he is someone who was full of the promoting lust and evil and wickedness. He can now come out and say, oh man, these homosexuals, F them, they this and they that, and expect people going to accept you. People are going to hear from you. No, it just can't happen that way. Everybody understands. And we as a nation, as black people, we have to see, we should not allow someone who is unclean, someone who is not morally righteous, to be a spokesman for us, to be a voice of reason. And that's something that we have allowed really in the past 60 years because we didn't know any better. You understand? And I'll say we don't know any better. I'm giving a pass to black people as a whole, but those who are up, the higher ups, the leadership, the spiritual leadership in our community, the governmental leadership in our community, the organizers, the people at the highest levels, they know that nothing can change if the people at the top are everything the system has made them to be. You understand? We found in the past 60 years that all of our politicians are corrupt. We found in the past 60 years that all of our pastors and the leaders of these huge congregations were wicked and deceitful. And so it's no wonder that the people who follow them, the people who are their, if they're the shepherds, the people who are their sheep are going to be a reflection of that. What we need in this time that we're living in is new shepherds. What we need is someone. What we need is to follow men who are sincere and honest in their following of God and in teaching us how to follow God. The reason why what we do is so difficult for a lot of brothers and sisters to stomach is because they don't know what real men of God look like. You understand? Because they've been looking at Creflo Dollar and T.D. Jakes and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, and those are not. That's not what men of God look like. That is what hypocrites look like. And following hypocrites leads us down the path that we are in today as a nation. Everybody understands? Let me get this scripture for you. Boom. Let me get Matthew chapter 20. Hold on, matter of fact, bear with me. Let me get let's get Luke chapter 12, verse 1. All right. Luke chapter 12, verse 1. And this topic of hypocrisy is one that it's very prevalent today, but it has always been prevalent. It has always been a topic, you know what I'm saying, for many generations and many cultures that has been discussed and debated, you know what I'm saying, and one that all men and women, you know, regardless of race, gender, whatever, regardless of your race, your gender, your creed, your class, everyone can agree that nobody likes a hypocrite. Nobody likes someone that proclaims one thing and stands up on this, and they're this and that, and they're talking about how, you know, when you take a stance on anything, there are people who are on the other side. And the people on the other side of whatever stance you take they want to argue with you. They want to disagree with you, right? But the only person the only type of person you really can disagree with is someone who's really about what they say that they're about. Someone who's really passionate. I can believe one thing and you can believe another. If you're sincere in your belief, even though I may know you're wrong, even though I may disagree with you, I'll respect you. Because, hey, man, they serious about that thing. But anytime you're willing to compromise, anytime you're willing to bend, anytime you're willing to fold, anytime I see that there's wiggle room in this thing that you're standing on, then I can lose respect. I can say, you know what, they ain't really sincere. They ain't really about what they say they're about. And that is something that is definitely necessary for a person to have if they're going to be in any type of position of leadership or authority. You understand? And it's necessary for the people who are your subjects, meaning people who you have authority over, to respect you, but it's also necessary for people who are willing to challenge your authority to respect you as well. The worst thing is to not have the respect of the people who are willing to challenge you. Everybody understands? And that's what you lose when you are exposed to be a hypocrite. This is the book of Luke, chapter 12. We're going to start at verse 1. All right? This is Luke 12:1. It says, in the meantime, when there were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trode one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. You understand? When Christ, the largest crowd gathered before him, at any time when he went out to speak, the first thing that Christ said, the main message that he wanted to get across to all those people was to beware of hypocrites. Why do you think it is that this was the message that Christ wanted to deliver to the people? All these people gathered to Christ. He could have said anything. He could have said, you understand? You know, trying to think of some cliche. What's some things that black people say all the time to each other? It's this new thing, right? When I was growing, well, you know, we used to say to each other, all right, man, take care. You know what I'm saying? Or be safe. Now I hear stay dangerous. Somebody said that to me the other day. We depart. There's somebody in the world, of course. And in truth, we greet each other. Yahweh Shem Shabrak Thumb, Yahweh Shema Thabah Shem Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? We salute each other. But people in the world say, all right, man, take care, man. Stay up. That's when we stay up, be safe. And I I recognize that when we used to say that when I was younger, saying that, it was like, I don't know when I'm gonna see you again. I'm saying stay up, be safe, because it's dangerous out here. You could die. I pray. It's like hey man, stay safe, man. Hey man, take care. Now it's stay dangerous. That nigga said to me the other day, I was all right. It was different. You know what I'm saying? But I guess niggas ain't being safe no more. Niggas ain't taking care. Ain't no more staying up. Now it's staying dangerous. You understand? That's the new thing. Everybody understand. But I'm trying to think of other little sayings like that. You know what I'm saying? That black people use. Christ could have got up there and said anything. He could have got up there and said, husbands, love your wives. And everybody, yeah, man, love your wives. He could have got up there and said, you know, love your neighbor. Black people stay together. They could have been like, yeah, black people stay together. He could have got up there and said, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And everybody would have been like, yeah, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Christ got up there and said, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. You understand? Beware of these goddamn hypocrites, is what he said. You understand? Now, just so you can understand the leaven of the Pharisees statement, it's a metaphor. Christ likened the Pharisees unto a loaf of bread or a loaf of dough. And when you put dough in the oven, what makes the dough rise is leaven. Leavening is what makes the dough rise. So Christ said, beware of what puffs up the Pharisees. Beware of what makes these men who are leaders feel they're better than you. What is it that makes somebody puffed up, that makes somebody feel they're better than you? It's hypocrisy. Understand that. Hypocrisy is what makes someone feel that they're better than you. Why? How do we know hypocrisy is what puffs someone up? Hypocrisy is what makes someone feel like they're better than you. Like you're on a level down here and they're on a level up here. How do we know it's hypocrisy that does that? Somebody take a stab at it. Brothers and sisters online, what is it? How do we know that hypocrisy is what puffs a man up? Hypocrisy is what makes someone feel like they're better than other people. How do we know it's hypocrisy? And really, the answer to this is it goes into every aspect of hypocrisy that we see in our culture and our society. Sister Walcott said deep down they know they have no substance. Okay, but if they know they have no substance, why are they puffed up? Get me to the core of what makes them puffed up. And why do we know it's hypocrisy? Someone pretends like they're better than you. They hold their head up over you and look down on you. You ain't nothing. You just old no good nigga, Section 8. You understand? Go to college. You ain't making this 6 figures, nigga. You ain't getting no money. You can't buy your girl no bag. You understand? You ain't no gangster nigga. You ain't no killer. Everything there's in every aspect of society, there's someone who thinks that they're better than you. In some kind of way, they looking down and you ain't nothing and you ain't on their level. How do we know that they're full of shit? Excuse my language. How do we know that they're pretending? How do we know that that's bullshit? How do we know that that's hypocrisy? That them being better is hypocrisy. Sister Kapata, as I said, because they have followers. Makodash said that's not brotherhood, sir. They feel like they don't need to follow rules. They don't need God. Sister Walker said it gives them a sense of fake respect. Okay, y'all on it. Y'all on all of the reasons they feel puffed up, right? I'm asking, why do we know that they're full of BS? Why do we know that they're faking it? Warwickar got it. Warwickar got it. She said because they aren't better. You understand? I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care how you live. Guess what? You eat, you sleep, you go to the bathroom and do number 2. Sometimes gas comes out of you the same way it does with me. Your money doesn't change that. Your wealth doesn't change that. Your job title doesn't change that. Oh, you a gangster? You on the block, brother? You robbing and killing? Okay, but guess what? You bleed just like I bleed, nigga. Oh, sis, you high class, huh? Sis, you get your nails done every week, and you pay for the finest of Brazilian hairs to get attached to your scalp. Oh, you got all the designer clothes on, huh? Okay, yeah, but you get in that bedroom and lay on your back like all other women do, don't you? Yeah, you ain't no better than me. You understand? We're all men and women. And being men and women, nothing makes any of us better than anyone else. You understand? The only thing that can elevate your status in life is serving God. And the people who we encounter that are puffed up, are they puffed up because they love God more than you, because they serve God better than you do? No. You understand? But that's what hypocrisy is built on. Hypocrisy is someone thinking they're better than you. That's BS, because you ain't better than me. You're a man just like I'm a man. You're a woman just like there's women, and we're all on this earth striving to be perfect in serving of the Most High. Here's how you know that someone who thinks they're better than other people is, and when I understand this, when I'm saying someone thinks they're better, I'm not saying someone, okay, how can I put it? Someone thinking they're better is they deserve things that you don't deserve, or they should have things that you shouldn't have, or they're because they're better than you. This is why they get what they get, and you don't get nothing. Everybody understands? And I'm saying that within the context of this society that we're in today, because this society is one that is built on materialism. It's built on, things that you can have, physical wealth, and that's not the world that the Most High created. That's not the way that the Most High designed for society to be. So I'm strictly speaking about operating within the bounds of this society, because the world that's to come, the kingdom of heaven that we speak about, there's going to be classes in the kingdom of heaven. There's going to be brothers and sisters who are kings and sisters who are princesses, who are royalty, who are living deliciously. And then there's going to be people that sweep the streets. Going to be people that, clean the toilets and do the dirty work. You understand? Here's the difference in that place. The people at the top are not going to look at the people on the bottom and say, I'm better than you. They're going to look at the people at the bottom and say, you should have did what the Lord said to do. You should have obeyed the Father. You want to change your condition. You want to change the way that you're living. Serve the Father. Be a good student. Be a good servant. Be a good child. Everybody understands? What is the way that you rise up in this society? How do you become better in this culture? Is it to serve the Most High? Is it to be a better servant of the Creator? No, it's to get your hands more dirty. It's to you too nice. You too sweet. You too kind to people. That's why you don't get ahead. The nice guy finishes last in this society. Guess what? The nice guy is going to finish first in the kingdom of heaven. Everybody understand? So this society is built on the more cruel, the more cold, the more evil, the more committed you are to doing wrong, the better off you can be. In the kingdom of heaven is going to be the opposite. Everybody understands. But the leavening of the leavening of the Pharisees, so the Pharisees were a specific class of people within the nation of Israel. They were the religious leaders. They were the men who today would be the pastors and the preachers and the deacons and the politicians and the people working within the government that's supposed to be doing right by the people. Christ said they think they're better than the average person, and it's hypocrisy, man. They're full of BS because they're not better. Anyone who's ever let me get another scripture on this, explaining why Christ spoke about the wearing of the leavening of the Pharisees. All right. Let me get Proverbs 29 and 2. Proverbs 29 and 2. This Proverbs 29 and 2 goes right into why when you have people ruling who are hypocrites, it's a bad situation for the people who are under their authority. So Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2 says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Everybody understand? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Why is that? Because when you are righteous and you have authority over people, that authority is responsibility. That authority is, I have to look out for these people. I have to set an example for them to follow. I have to be what it is that I am teaching these people that they need to be in order for our society to change. And when you have righteous leadership, the people rejoice because we grow together. We build together. You understand? We're one on one accord. But when you have the wicked in rulership, the people are mourning because the wicked are going to tell you one thing, but then they're going to go and do a whole nother. When you live in a society like this one, you look to your leaders. Your leaders are showing you all the wrong ways to live. Your leaders are showing you all the ways that a man is not supposed to conduct himself. The women are showing you all the ways that a young daughter should not aspire to be. We wonder why relationships don't last. We wonder why our community is so dysfunctional. We wonder why there's such disarray and so many problems in our households. Well, look at who's leading the example. Look at who it is that we're following as a people. And particularly for Black people, a lot of the people who we follow, a lot of the people who we look up to, they are people who our oppressor has puffed up. Yeah, people our oppressor has pushed in front of us to say, here, look, this is who you should model yourself after. And then we find out that these people are, full of lust, full of demons, full of evil and wickedness going on. Well, it's no wonder that the rest of us are that way. What we need is for righteous men and women to be pushed to the forefront, righteous men and women to be the example that we follow so that we can emulate that. We can pattern ourselves after righteousness. And now we can speak against the homosexuality because we're also speaking against the drug dealing, because we're also speaking against the child molestation and the rape. We're also speaking against the, following of the oppressor's culture. Now we can speak against all these things because guess what? No one can call us out. No one can pull our card. No one can say, well, what about this? Because righteousness has us covering all those bases. Everybody understands? So let me go back to Luke chapter 12, verse 1. All right. Luke chapter 12, verse 1 says, in the meantime, when there were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trode one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Understand this. There is nothing covered that shall not be revealed. There's not, if you are living a hypocrite lifestyle, you will be exposed. If you have any dirt in your closet, guess what? That dirt will it will come out. You got things that you're trying to sweep under the rug and you hoping with all hope that nobody ever finds out about it. Guess what? Everyone is going to find out about it. So what should you do then? You should not be a hypocrite. You should not pretend that you are better than people or that you don't have the struggles that they have, because guess what? You'll be exposed. And when you are exposed, you lose all reliability. And when you lose reliability, no one cares what you do because nobody trusts you or believes you anyway. Everybody understands. Keep reading. This is Luke chapter 12 and 3. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light. And that which ye have spoken in the ear in closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do. But I forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him which after he hath killed has power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, fear him. That's the Most High. You should not be afraid of what men think of you. You should not be afraid of what the people might say. You should be afraid of what God will do. And God hates nothing more than a hypocrite. He hates nothing more than someone who should be one thing, but then lives another completely other life. Everybody understands? And that is what has destroyed us as a community. That is what stands in the way of Black people rising up, changing, and really becoming the people the Lord called us to be. You understand? And this hypocrisy is stifling us. It's literally stifling us on the national level. Let me get let's get Jeremiah chapter 23. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 23. Hold on. Let me see something. Get Jeremiah 23 and 10. All right. And this is the result of hypocrites. This is the result of false leadership, or people lead. When I say false leadership, that is what hypocrites are. They're false leaders. They're men who's supposed to be in charge, but they're unfit to be in charge because they say one thing, but then they live another. You understand? And we have to acknowledge that as a people, we are, like God describes us, as sheep. We are a people that are only as strong as our leadership is, because we're people who follow trends. We follow who's in charge. We follow who's we all seeking someone to follow. We're all seeking a leader. We're seeking someone that we want to aspire to be like, to look up to. You understand? And again, it goes into every facet of life. For all of us, when we were young growing up, there was someone in our life who we looked up to. Someone in our life where we said, man, when I get older, I want to be like them. Well, guess what? They were that way because there was someone in their life who they looked up to. There was someone who they was trying to be like. I remember being young. I had an older cousin. My oldest cousin. He was a fresh cat, fly, right? He was wearing nice clothes. I remember this back in the late 80s, early 90s. He used to wear Nautica. You know what I'm saying? He used to have polos and started all the little nice clothes, right? And I used to want to dress like my cousin so bad. You know what I'm saying? It got so bad this is when I was young. This is when I was a little cat. I was little soccer wolf back then. I could fit my cousin's clothes. He'd go to school. He'd go to school earlier than me. I'd sneak and put on his sneakers or put on his little shirt. This one we could fit the same clothes, and he'd always catch me, right? And he'd be mad as hell. And I was in my mind, was like, man, I'm just trying to be fresh like you. Then I got a little bit older, and I realized that he was fresh because all my uncles was fresh. Like he was getting fly because he was trying to be like my uncles who was fly. You know what I'm saying? Got a little older, realized that my uncles was the ones who was fly. You know what I'm saying? And then as I got older and started to decide, I started making my own wave and wearing my own kind of clothes. And I had little cousins that was coming up after me, and they was like, asking me to take them shopping and buy them stuff. And I seen how it went. The flow of being fly in my family came from us emulating one another. You know what I'm saying? And growing up, I never wanted to be a cat in the streets. I never wanted to be a gangster. I never wanted to be, somebody who was feared or on the block, because guess what? I didn't grow up around men who lived like that. All my uncles was boxers. They was fighters. They was actual fighters. You know what I'm saying? And they went to work and had their jobs and did their thing. So that's what I wanted to do. My granddaddy, when I was growing up, I watched my granddaddy hustle. You know what I'm saying? Granddaddy went out and drove a cab and had all these odds and ends jobs, played the saxophone and did poetry and all these different things that he did. And I wanted to be like that growing up. So I never wanted to be in the streets. But that's how we are as a people. We pattern ourselves after the people who influence us. But we're living in a time today where the people who are influencing us, unfortunately, are people who, again, people who this society has accepted because they dabble in the evil. that this society promotes. You understand? So for those of us in the truth, our children are being raised respecting and looking up to righteous men and women. But that wasn't the case for most of us growing up. You understand what I'm saying? And so the reason why our society is in the condition it's in is because we are emulating people who are wicked. We're following people who are following people who are following people who are completely engulfed in a lifestyle of lust and materialism and all the things that go against God that our oppressor promotes. Everybody understand? And that's what we're going to read about here in Jeremiah 23. The conditions that we're reading about are the result of following men who are following after wickedness. Everybody understands? Jeremiah chapter 23 verse 10 says, "For the land is full of adulterers." What is an adulterer? An adulterer is a man that sleeps with another man's woman. You understand? An adulteress is a woman who just has sex with anybody. She ain't got no man. Her vagina's for everybody. Why is that bad? Because adulterers and adulteresses create killers. They create conflict. You understand? A lot of the violence in our community is over some woman. Some man beefing with some other man because this man came and had sex with his woman. Some man, it's horrible. Everybody understands. But the land being full of adulterers is the land being full of violence. I'm going to keep reading. Because of swearing, the land mourneth. You understand? What is the swearing? The swearing is speaking evil. You understand? Swearing is not, the curse words of today. Swearing in the Bible is like, I love God, when you're a hypocrite. Swearing is, wishing death on someone. I'm going to kill you, nigga. I'm going to kill you. You're going to die. That's swearing in the Bible. Everybody understands. It says the land, because of swearing, the land mourns. The pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up, and their course is evil, and their force is not right. For both prophet and priest are profane. The Bible said both the prophet and the priest are profane. Who are the prophets and the priests? The prophets and the priests are the leaders. The men who speak to the people about the path that they're on and how they're supposed to live their life and how they should conduct themselves. The Bible said the prophet and the priest are profane. In today's society, the prophet and the priest is not the men in the church. You understand? Maybe the priests are the men in the church, but the prophets, the ones who set the standards for how we live, the ones who give us direction and guidance, that isn't a responsibility that falls on the church in today's society. You understand? The people who are responsible for leading us and guiding us in the trends that's being set, that goes to those are your rappers. Those are your entertainers. You understand? Those are your ball players who should be just bouncing a basketball, but they put a camera in his face and a microphone and say, "What do you think about the poverty in the hometown where you come from?" And he say, "Oh man, we got to come together and just be more of a nation and love one another." He's profane. You understand? The priest, the prophet is the rapper who talks about getting rich or dying trying. Who talks about money over bitches. You understand? Who talks about, whatever the evil is that's being promoted in this music and in these movies. That is who has become the prophet in these times. And following behind the culture that is being pushed on us through entertainment is the reason why we're destroyed as a people. You understand? And we have to understand that our oppressor is the one that is in charge of that entertainment. He is in charge of that messaging. He's in charge of the programming that we receive. And it is the reason why we are people who can benefit no one and nothing but our oppressor. Everybody understands? Verse 12 says, "Wherefore their way shall be unto them as slippery ways in the darkness, and they shall be driven on and fall thereon. For I will bring evil upon them, even the year of their visitation, saith the Lord." Everybody understands. The Lord said we're going to be destroyed because of following behind these profane priests and these profane prophets. You understand? And we are living in a time where a lot of our people are realizing, man, these people off as hell. These people wrong. You understand? For years, there have been black people who spoke out against drug addiction. We've been speaking out against crack, but speaking out against the whole drug epidemic. You know what I'm saying? But those voices were drowned out largely by the voices in entertainment, the voices in media. You know what I'm saying? About the glorification of the drug dealing, the glorification of, getting money and I mean, it's horrible. You got black people dying from crack cocaine, all of the homes that were destroyed by crack cocaine. And the year 2019, you got rappers famous with songs about whipping it in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? All that whipping it and all of that, that's talking about cooking up crack cocaine. How we go from 30 years ago, it destroyed our community, it's the most evil, horrible thing that ever happened, to TikTok dances about whipping up cocaine. That comes from the priest and the prophet becoming profane. Comes from the people who will have a voice, or people who are giving a voice over the people, teaching them things that are evil and go against the Lord. You understand? When your music is about drug dealing and about whipping it in the kitchen, then guess what you cannot do? You cannot also say the police put drugs in our community. CIA bought drugs in our community. Well, which one is it? Is it the CIA bought drugs in your community and that's why it's destroyed? Or is it that you're getting money whipping it in the kitchen? That's hypocrisy. You understand? You're complaining about this drug dealing, but all your music is about getting rich off of this drug dealing. Well, which one is it? If we're going to be upset about what crack has done to our community, then we can't have music glorifying getting rich off selling crack. We talk about Black Lives Matter. Talk about we talk about the murdering of black men in the streets, right? Well, your Black Lives Matter doesn't mean anything. You're complaining about police brutality, but you're committing 400,000 abortions a year. You're killing 1,200 of each other every year. You can't have both of them. You can't complain about Black Lives Matter and you're murdering your babies. No, you can't do that. So guess what one of these is going to go away. Either complaining about police brutality goes away because you're aborting your babies and you're shooting each other, or you got to stop shooting each other and aborting your babies for your lives to be respected. Everybody sees the trouble that hypocrisy gives us, right? You understand? I talked about this last week. You black women, you want your culture to be respected, cultural appropriation. You don't want Kim Kardashian wearing cornrows. You don't want Kylie Jenner getting, Botox put in her lips and getting black lips and getting a booty injection to have a black booty. But yet you want to blonde your hair. You want to put perm in your hair. You want to wear lace front wigs. Well, you can't wear lace fronts and blonde your hair, but be mad about cultural appropriation. White girls getting box braids and getting cornrows. Which one is it going to be? If you don't want white women getting cornrows and box braids, then you can't go and blonde your hair and put the creamy crack in your hair. Which one is it going to be? Are you going to embrace your culture and leave theirs alone? Or are you going to embrace their culture and now they can embrace yours? Which one is it going to be? Because you can't be a hypocrite. Hypocrisy is what silences the voices of the oppressed. It's what silences the cries of the people who are subjugated. And we as a nation we as a people have lived too long suffering and crying, but those cries being drowned out by people who make us look foolish, make us look stupid. The baby, even though he's right about what he said, homosexuality is wrong. Homosexuality is evil. All sexual deviancy is wrong and evil. The baby rapping about, all the sex he has in some woman's mouth. Every song is about sex in some woman's mouth, right? And then he don't call her no more, don't talk to her. That's just as evil as the homosexuality. You understand? Him rapping about shooting and killing people. It's just as bad as the homosexuality. Him rapping about getting high and selling drugs and popping mollies is just as bad as the homosexuality. So guess what? If the baby wants to speak against homosexuality, he has to stop rapping about getting high. He has to stop rapping about killing other black people. He has to stop rapping about turning our daughters into whores or using them as sex objects, or else he should just shut the hell up. He didn't shut up. He spoke on it. He said what he said about them homosexuals. Well, now the homosexuals has made the baby go away. The homosexuals has made it so the baby doesn't exist anymore. And that's it. He's done. And the lesson that we should learn is that that's what happens when you're a hypocrite. You understand? We are living in a time now, black people are fed up with what's being pushed on us. Black people fed up with the homosexuality. We fed up with all the gayness on every TV, every show. We look around and it's like, goddamn, what's going on? Yeah, there's gayness in the cartoons. I saw something the other day. It was like Robin from Batman and Robin. Robin came out as bisexual. And I thought to myself, well, damn, what other superhero do I know their sexuality? Think about it. And I know Superman, he like Lois Lane. Superman love him some Lois Lane, right? Batman, he love him some whoever the Catwoman is. Batman love him some Catwoman. You understand? I know Spider-Man love him some MJ. He love him some Mary Jane. But damn, I don't know who Robin is hitting. Nor do I care. I don't know who Martian Manhunter's having sex with. I don't know who Thor is hammering when he ain't hitting his enemies with the hammer. Why does it matter? Why is it important? Who cares? Homosexuals care. And they're gonna make sure that you care. But if you got a problem with that, you against it, well then you better not have no skeletons in your closet. You better not have no dirt. You better be someone who has the moral fortitude to stand up against the evil. You understand? And if you know that that's not you, then you should just shut your mouth. You understand? Things like what happened with the baby. Here's what's going to happen. What happened with the baby is now going to cause these rappers and these entertainers to shut their goddamn mouth. And if they want to say anything, if they want to be heard about what's right, guess what they'll do? They'll let us be the ones to speak. Instead of the baby saying something crazy at a show about homosexuals, maybe he'll just post up one of our videos. Instead of LeBron James speaking about what he thinks should be done about police brutality or about the crime in the black community, maybe he'll just post one of our videos. Then when they ask him, LeBron James, you posted a video from some group speaking about violence, and he could just say, well, hey man, what the brothers were saying was, I agree. I think they were saying some heavy stuff. Then it may be other than they say, well, what about they say they hate white people? LeBron James to say, well, I don't agree with that part. And now he's free. He can agree. He can like somebody's opinion, but he ain't got to put his career on the line. He ain't got to risk losing all his endorsements. He ain't got to risk losing his career because of an opinion. Don't have the opinion. Let us have the opinion. We already putting our neck on the line. We already put our life on the line. We already are going against all the odds of this evil society to say what is right. Let us carry that burden. Let the weight be on our shoulders, because that's what real leaders do. Real leaders, they carry the burdens. They carry the weight. They do the things that the people who are not in the positions that they're in to do. That's our responsibility. Let the righteous men deal with the matters concerning righteousness and wickedness. You a rapper, just rap, man. Sing your little song, brother. Sing your song and get your little money and do your thing. But shut up. You understand? Or if you want to speak about the problems, then let your music be a reflection of what you're speaking against. You understand? You the baby, and you don't like homosexuals, man. But then guess what? You don't need to educate yourself about homosexuality. You need to educate yourself about how you're just like the homosexuals. Before we close out the class, one last thing on this hypocrisy. All right. Let me see. No. Hold up. All right, let's get James chapter. Hold on. Okay, let's get James chapter 2, verse 8. Everybody understands? James chapter 2, verse 8. All right. Okay, and salute to the brothers and sisters checking in, man. I see we got Brian Buff. Hey, Brian, man, been a little while. I ain't seen you, brother, man. Get in contact with me, man. Right over there in West Memphis, man. Listen, Brian, we supposed to been. Come on, man. We got the school here in Memphis now. You about 20 minutes away, man. Come on to class, man. It's good to see you tuning in. Grace Perez or Christina checking in from Wisconsin. Good to have you with us. Mary Ringo, I see you coming back in from Tennessee. You brothers and sisters, man, that's in the area, man. Y'all local, man. Come on down to the class, man. Come sit in here with us at least one night. You know what I'm saying? One night a week. Come down on a Wednesday, man, and come sit in class, all right? For all the brothers and sisters tuning in, man, y'all got family, loved ones, people you care about, get them in contact with us, man. Share these classes so brothers and sisters can hear this message and know that they are righteous men. Like, we got a school in Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? We got a school right here in Memphis. We got a school in Little Rock. There's righteous men that's in your city, right in your area, where you can go and learn directly from them how to apply these words of this Bible to your life so that you can become a reflection of what God created us to be. And that's the purpose of these classes, man. The purpose of these classes is to allow us to be able to grow one day at a time, one lesson at a time, until we get to the place where we are the nation the Lord called us to be, man, so he can come and fulfill the promises he made in these scriptures and deliver us from this place. But in the meantime, we're going to have to work hard. We're going to have to work hard and toil and fight and scratch and claw against this evil society, because guess what? The evil society is going to fight and claw and toil against us. We got to realize that we living in the times where either you fighting or you dying, man. And the Lord is calling for soldiers. The Lord is calling for those brothers and sisters who got some fight in them to stand up and be who he called them to be in these last days, in these evil times, so that we can gain that reward that we've always been waiting for. Everybody understands? But here we're going to close out the class with this. This is James chapter 2, verse 8. It says, if ye fulfill the royal law according to the scripture, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, ye do well. What does it mean to love your neighbor as yourself? Loving your neighbor as yourself is loving your brother or your sister according to the laws of God. Righteousness is how you love your neighbor as you love yourself. Doing all the things that God said to do is how you show love to your neighbor. If you obey God and you do everything the law says to do, then you do well. We living in a time that we got to do well. We living in a time that we have got to stand strong and stand tall. You understand? Doing what the Lord said to do. But keep reading. Verse 9, but if ye have respect to persons, ye commit sin and are convinced of the law as transgressors. What does it mean to have respect to persons? You treat one person, you obey the law with this person, but then with these other people, what God said don't really matter. Who cares about them? Who you can treat them any kind of way. That's a sin. That's evil. That's wicked. If you allow for leavening to cause you to treat people differently, if you allow for viewing some people as being better than others, which we know is BS, which we know is a lie, then you commit sin. You understand? And you are a transgressor of God's law. Verse 10, for whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. So what does that mean? You're a drug addict, then you're just as guilty as a homosexual. You're just as guilty as an adulterer. You're just as guilty as a child molester. You're just as guilty as somebody who has sex with animals. Why am I bringing up child molesters and people who got sex with animals and people who molest children? Because that's what you think is the worst thing on the earth. When that's no worse than eating pork and eating shrimp. You should think to yourself, man, if I smoke this blunt, you're a man. You should think of smoking that blunt like putting a penis in your mouth. If you would never put a penis in your mouth, that's disgusting and horrible, then guess what? You shouldn't put that blunt to your lips. You understand? You're a woman out there, you eating pork and shrimp, and you should think of that pork and that shrimp like getting a train ran on you. If you say, oh, no, hey, I would never do nothing nasty like that, well, then why are you eating that pork and that shrimp? You might as well get a train ran on you. There's no sin that's greater than any other. You understand? Yes, James chapter 2 and 8, where we started, we are now in verse 10. You understand? So when a rapper, the baby, comes out and speaks against homosexuals, because he is just as guilty as the homosexuals, they have all the power with God and with man to condemn him. Because he is a hypocrite. Now, is it right? Should it happen? No, hell no. The baby should be able to say whatever he want to say about homosexuals. But the laws of this society and this culture calls for him to be canceled. What I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, if you want to have the power to cancel evildoers, then you've got to be righteous. You want to cancel Little Nas X? No sweat. If Little Nas X can't dance on the TV with men in thongs, then no rapper can dance on the TV with women in thongs. That's how you stop Little Nas X. You don't like Little Nas X dancing on the pole and grinding on some man, then I shouldn't be able to turn on the TV and see a woman grinding on the pole and dancing on some man. I mean, that's equality, right? You want equality, you want everybody to be free. Well, this is what equality and freedom looks like. And that's why he's doing it. The Little Nas X guy he's doing it because, oh, we free? We equal? We all can do the same thing. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna go and put a thong on and dance on the pole and grind on a man. But you think that's disgusting? You think that's nasty? Well, you ain't have a problem when Nicki Minaj was doing it. And when okay, that's the homosexual argument. The homosexual problem with you thinking it's disgusting is, well, it wasn't disgusting when Nicki Minaj did it. Why is it disgusting when this guy does it? He's just exploring his sexuality. He's just expressing his sexual freedom. Either everybody can be free to be naked and be a freak and pole dance, or nobody can be naked and be a freak and pole dance. Either all pole dances have to be private, or all pole dances are public. But you can't be a hypocrite. You can't like it when Nicki Minaj does it, but hate it when Little Nas X does it. When you respect a person, you respect Nicki Minaj pole dance, because I guess that's a nice pole dance. That's a nice pole dance. But then when it's a little boy doing it, you don't like it when it's a little boy doing it. What are you talking about? What's the difference between that's the homosexual argument. What's the difference between Little Nas X doing it and Nicki Minaj doing it? So hold on. The women can exploit their bodies sexually. They can get money for exposing themselves. But when the men do it, it's a problem. That's hypocrisy. We're in a society where they're playing on your acceptance of evil. You let a little evil in the door when you let the women start to do it. You let the women pole dance. You let the women shake their booties. You allowed that. You shouldn't have allowed that. You should have been disgusted when the women were shaking their booties on their TV. You should have said, no, this is ill. This is nasty. Where was your outrage when it was your daughters doing it? Where was your outrage when it was showing the little girls, go be a hoe, go be a slut? You wasn't outraged then because you like little whores. You like little sluts. But now that it's the little boys doing it, you want to draw the line? Shame on you. Shame on you. Because the same way that the righteous, we disgusted at this little boy doing it, we disgusted at the women doing it too. But they shoved women being whores down our throat. Ain't nobody had a problem when they was teaching all the little black girls to be whores and sluts. Everybody, yeah, black girl power, and yeah, queen, do your thing, queen, and black girl magic. Well, little Nas X just wants some black girl magic. That's all. He wants to just express this black girl magic. He's stupid. You're stupid and you're evil and you're dumb. And you got to realize it now. The oppressor is making you realize it. This is what you did to yourself. I remember, listen, man, I remember 2 Live Crew. Back when I was a young nigga, I was young. I'm an 80s baby, man. I was young. 2 Live Crew they had songs about, doing it nasty stuff. Just nasty, just 2 Live Crew. If you want to take a trip down the rabbit hole, go listen to some 2 Live Crew records. But this was straight booty stripping, nasty sex music. And they this is how evil this our oppressor tried to stop it. Our oppressor said this music is lewd, it's nasty, it's damaging to the children. And we black people fought for 2 Live Crew. Went to the Congress. They went and fought all the way to Washington. And then Washington said, hey man, freedom of speech. You got to let 2 Live Crew into Miami, South Florida, Miami-Dade 305. You got to let them have their booty music, man. Let them have their booty shaking music. And now, from 2 Live Crew, you got Little Nas X. When you should have been outraged and it should have stopped 2 Live Crew. But you let 2 Live Crew in the building, the end result is Little Nas X. The end result is boys dancing naked in videos, grinding on other boys. You understand? But the only way out of it is to not be hypocrites. Let me continue with James 2. It's now James 2:11. For he that said, do not commit adultery, said also, do not kill. Now, if thou commit no adultery, yet if thou kill, thou art become a transgressor of the law. So if you say, don't be a homosexual, but you go and smoke weed, you're just as guilty as the homosexual. But to hold homosexuality like it's some heavier sin than all the other sins, that's hypocrisy. You understand? So brothers and sisters, now is the time that we as a nation and we as a people, we have to recognize. So that again, part of the reason why I taught this class and started this breakdown was because I saw some memes, which are just images with messages in them on social media that said, if the homosexuals can cancel the baby, why can't we cancel Little Nas X? And the reason that we cannot cancel Little Nas X is because we are a nation that is full of hypocrisy. The baby got canceled because he's a hypocrite, and we can't cancel Little Nas X because we're hypocrites. You are a hypocrite if you are angry about Little Nas X dancing on a pole in a thong, but you were not mad about Nicki Minaj doing it. We should not be sexually exploiting any of our children. Any man, any woman. What's you done with your body, what you do, what God created your body for, was not for it to be exploited on the television. God created a man's body to be received by a woman, and he created a woman's body to be received by a man. Anything outside of that is perversion. And it's deviancy. We are living in a society full of perverts and sexual deviants, which is unrighteous. Everybody understands. So if you truly want to put an end to the homosexuality being forced on our people, then we have got to put an end to accepting horror in our culture. We've got to put an end to accepting whoremongers, which are men who make women whores in our culture. We've got to put an end to all the sexual exploiting of young, impressionable black men and women. But you cannot stop Little Nas X if you're going to accept the Nicki Minaj's, the Rihanna's, and all the other evil, nasty, disgusting nonsense that we accept in this society. Everybody understands. One last scripture, 1 John, the sister asks if this is a precept, 1 John 3:15, whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him. That's a good one, sis. It's definitely a precept, but I wouldn't put it in this breakdown, but it is definitely a precept concerning hypocrisy. You understand? With that, we're going to close out the class. Again, this is the Hypocrite's Plight, part 2, discussing, and if you go back to the first class, we defined what it meant to be a hypocrite We defined what plight was. So you want to get a full understanding, a full breakdown on the context of the class. Definitely go back and watch the class from last week. All you brothers and sisters tuning in, man, we the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians the truth according to the Bible. The truth is that so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. And the Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You understand? And there's nothing more important than for so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians to find out the truth of who they are, where they come from, and what their purpose is here on the earth. And so it is our hope that with these classes, brothers and sisters will be able to grow closer to the Most High, grow closer to the truth, and become the men and the women that the Lord called them to be. In Memphis, Tennessee, we have these classes every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We do have a physical school location here in Memphis. You brothers and sisters tuning in, if you're in the area, get in contact with us, man. Come to class. With that, if you like to be with that, pay your tithes, everybody. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. The tithes that you pay goes directly to the work of the Lord, goes directly to these schools being built to support the nation, to support the brothers and sisters who need the support in these difficult times we're living in. Your money does not go to somebody having a Rolls Royce or somebody driving a fancy car or flying in a jet plane. Your money goes to brothers and sisters. Everybody understands. So pay your time, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. If you're a brother, you want to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, we're going to send up the Lord's Prayer. All right, so we're going to say Amajim, which means to stand. Wapunya Hakwadam, which means turn and face the east. All right, we're going to send up the Lord's Prayer first in Hebrew, then we're going to do it in English. All right? All right, it's the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Ayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakwafka. Taba'ah. Ratazayaka. Ayah. Aisha. Ba'aratazah. Kawar. Ayah. Bashamayim. Nathan Lanawa. Lakam. Ka. Yawam. Don't swear. Wasalak Lanawa. Kababwaf now. Kasalak now. Kababwaf Yanawa. Wala'ah. Dabaya now. Banasaya 1. Abal. Hawashai now. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Halalakwa. Waha'ala. Wahafapa'araf. La'ai Walamyam. Aman. All right, as the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. All right, Saul, which means a turn. Get a brother's one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Aman Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shabarakathum, which is the Most High bless you in the name of Yahweh Shah. Yajamatah, hands down, Sar, turn and face the sisters. Get a sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Aman Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Alathan Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shah. That's the Most High, watch over you in the name of Yahweh Shah. Yajamatah, hands down, class dismissed. All right.